Hey guys, Mac D again. Today we're joined by Mr. Mutchler, aka Mickey. He was in Recon for the Marines for 8 years, and he was a sergeant when he got out. So we're going to backtrack and go to our Christmas questions, because this is our Christmas special. So what is your favorite Christmas memory?
My favorite Christmas memory would have to be, I was maybe 10, and I rode my bike to school. Okay. So I got a gray Huffy bicycle, which Huffy back in, let's see, when I was 10, it was the 80s, I'm old, was kind of like the big deal. Right. It was like getting a Tony Hawk skateboard. Yeah. You know, it was the big thing. And it had white wheels. Oh. And white discs in them. Oh, okay. So it was like this really futuristic. It looks like a Tron motorcycle. Yeah, it was kind of cool. That's awesome. That was my best memory. Yeah, that's super cool. Has there ever been a time where you celebrated Christmas while you were away from home? Several. Yeah, when I was in the Marine Corps, I rarely came home. Those first 4 years, usually did with family. I was married and had a couple of girls, and by that time, in the first 3 years, or the last 3 years of my first 4. And so, yeah, we would come home. She was actually, my ex-wife is actually from Missouri. Okay. And so we would travel to near Branson. Okay. And we would travel there, hang out, and if and every once in a while I would come to Texas and see my family. Yeah. Everything. But after 9/11, I never came home for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, nothing. It was, I was either deployed or out training. I was doing something. It was nonstop. They kept you super busy. Yeah. So let's just jump back. So why did you even join the military? Why did you join the Marine Corps in general? Well, I was an AB student. I just didn't feel like going to college yet. Straight away, yeah. I had a scholarship offer to play soccer for SMU, for Notre Dame, and I was even offered. The guy actually showed up. The Manchester United representative showed up with a plane ticket and said, "Here's the plane ticket. You come over, you try out, you make it, you stay. If you don't, we fly you back home." Yeah. And there's some regrets there. Okay. You know, I might have married a Spice Girl, or I don't know. You know. Maybe. I would have played with David Beckham. Yeah. So that would have been kind of cool. That was the time frame, around 97, 98, and so. But I thought the Marine Corps was going to be the best thing for me. Okay. Get me out of town, get me away from. I grew up in Sherman, just north of here. Okay. So I had to get out of town. Yeah. If I would have stayed, I felt like I might have, gotten into drugs, gotten lazy, and just gone into a dead-end job or something, just not doing anything with my life. So. Okay. Did you ever think about doing schooling to become an officer? I did. After I was in a couple of years, I thought about it, and I actually did start taking some online courses, but I kind of decided, well, if I become an officer, I'll give it 6 to 8 years, and then I'll apply and go that route. But I wanted to be enlisted first. I definitely wanted to do that first. Yeah. A lot of my family was in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. I was the first Marine in my family. Gotcha. And so after talking to them about options and this and that and who they respected more, if there was an officer who was enlisted first and they called him a Mustang, those were the guys they respected. Would actually look because they knew what was going on. Exactly. Not that officers don't. Sometimes they don't, but Yeah, for sure. That's cool though. So when you left for your first training for boot camp, what was the hardest thing about having to leave, or was it easy? No, it was hard. You're leaving, just like anybody going to college or something out of state. Even if you're going to college just 2 hours down the road, right? It's a little scary. You're leaving the bubble of high school. Yeah. You guys right now, you're in this bubble of Centennial and Frisco, and you might travel outside of it a little bit, but this is a little bubble for y'all. Right. And once you get outside of it, your mind's going to be blown. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have challenges. There's going to be things that come up and everything, but you'll push through it. You're going to fail. You learn from that. But it's scary. It's scary taking that step. So when I ended up leaving July 13th of 1997. Okay. It was 2 weeks after high school graduation, And
Yep.
so
Same for me.
I had, I was saying bye to a girlfriend, I was saying bye to friends, family, and flying to California where there's nobody you know.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and boot camp was fun and everything. I remember actually seeing somebody I went to high school with while I was in boot camp, and it kind of, it just felt good.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody you knew.
Someone else with you doing the
just
same thing.
Yeah. Like, oh, excuse me, you're going through hell like
Right.
me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. So let's jump into boot camp, dive a little bit into there. What was your funniest memory from training of somebody messing up or something like that?
Is this PG?
No, this is your.
Okay, so I feel bad about it now, but at the time this was hilarious. It is still funny. There was an individual, this recruit, name of Alcarash or something like that.
Okay.
Wasn't a very popular kid. He got us in a lot of trouble, kind of like on Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, we were sitting there, and it was inspection time, and we had just gotten this brand new drill instructor straight from drill instructor school.
Oh. Like while in the middle of training?
In the middle of training. It was our second phase, and we had just picked him up at the beginning of the phase, and we're doing hygiene inspection, and it was his night. And it was Staff Sergeant Little.
Okay.
And so we're sitting there, and my bunkmate, coolest guy, Moore, he looks over, and Alcarash was right across the barracks from us. Mm-hmm. So he's the squad bay.
Oh, the other side?
So
yeah, okay.
he's on the other side, just looking straight at us.
Yeah.
He was a little overweight.
Okay.
He had man boobs.
Half rat?
He had man boobs. And so Moore was like, the commercials had just come out and everything, got milk. And I started laughing, and I couldn't control it. And Staff Sergeant Little just lost his mind. And all of three of us were up on the deck getting burned until like midnight.
Yeah.
We're doing the change the channel, you're in the push-up position, but you're on your knee, on your elbows.
Yeah.
And you have
like
to reach up and change the channel every once in a while, and he'll tell you change the channel, and you're on concrete.
Okay.
So
I haven't heard
it
of
starts
that
to hurt.
Yeah.
And everything. And yeah, that was one of the funniest things that happened to me in boot camp, because it was later on when I got to Okinawa, Japan, and was stationed there. Mm-hmm. Staff Sergeant Little showed up to be my platoon commander.
Fantastic.
And we laughed about it for
that's good.
hours.
That's
Yeah.
good.
He thought it was the funniest things. His first night as a drill instructor with a platoon, and he had to deal with that. And he said it will always be in his memory.
That's good. Well, that's good. At least y'all had some laughs about it afterwards. Heck yeah. What was the hardest thing you faced at boot camp, just in general? Physical, mental?
The mental part.
Okay.
Yeah, the physical part. I was a soccer player, a swimmer in high school. Played soccer all my life. So then started doing some swimming and diving, and then cross country.
Yeah.
So the physical
So you're
part
perfect.
was no problem.
Right.
I mean, I could run a 16-minute or 18-minute 3-mile.
Yeah.
I ran a perfect PFT and everything. 20 pull-ups. I weighed 145 pounds. So it wasn't. The physical part was not hard at all. It was the mental part. It was them breaking you down
Right.
into a nobody to
Leveling
make
the
you
playing
feel
field
like
with
everybody is you're
Same.
just dirt.
Yep.
And then that's when they start to build you up.
Right.
That's what second phase and third phase is about, building you up, building that camaraderie, to where you also then start to building the teamwork and everything. But the mental part was the hard part. And then after you figured that out, it was easy.
Yeah, that's just a game.
You feel like this is just a game. They're just playing with my mind. We're going to eat. It might be 2 hours from now, but we're going to eat. They can't starve us. There's little things like that. You might only get 5 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
So you learn how to eat fast. But it's just the mental games that they play.
Yeah.
And that continues throughout the Marine Corps. There's always some kind of mental game going on. Somebody, wanting to punish everybody for something.
Yeah, and one person that,
Yeah, one person messes up, now everybody suffers, so.
Yeah. I've heard of stories of people eating while they're walking to the trash can.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Just to get the
Just
meal
get that
in.
last
Yeah,
meal,
for
that
sure.
last bite.
Some people have the opportunity to graduate up, to get PFC because of recruiting other poolies or anything. So did you have the opportunity to do anything like that?
I did not. I actually came in third in my platoon. First place usually, holds the guide on.
Right.
They have the perfect PFT, the perfect score. Because in the Marine Corps, we don't also just focus on drilling, like marching, or the physical part and everything, or the fighting part. We also focus on the education.
That's good.
The history of the Marine Corps is very important. The traditions that come with the Marine Corps
Traditions are very important.
are so important. I mean, you learn, about where the Marine Corps was born. Tun Tavern, Pennsylvania. We were born in a pub. I mean, 5 guys sat down at a bar, started drinking, and said, "Let's make the Marine Corps." I mean, how cool is that?
It's pretty cool.
And that was November 10th, 1775. So you just remember those things. You start to, you get taught, every Marine who's ever won the Medal of Honor or done, something outstanding, Lieutenant Dan Daly, Basides on Hiroshima. He had already won the Medal of Honor, and he was tired of, he picked up a M290, and, they were water-cooled at the time, and it had ran out of water, and he melted his hands almost completely off because he's holding the gun, and
Wow.
he was mowing down the Japanese that were attacking him. And so then he goes on tour because they wanted everybody to, hey,
Look at this.
let's put this guy on tour.
Right.
He's got the Medal of Honor and everything, and then he got tired of that, so he went to training, and he was like, I can't do this. And that's how he met his wife. They got married, and he shipped off, and the first thing he goes to is Hiroshima, where he did die and everything. But then I think he got the Navy Cross there.
Yeah.
But you just learn all these stories about these guys, and you strive to do that. So I think I got off topic a little bit.
That's okay.
But
That's good. Tangents are good. We learn more about you. So post boot camp, how did MCT compare to boot camp for you?
MCT was simple.
Okay.
It was like a walk in the park. It was like a bunch of us getting together and let's go up to Beaver's Bend, or go somewhere and go hiking.
Right.
You're walking around, maybe going to Colorado and going hunting, but you're hiking in to do it, and you're carrying guns, and you're doing everything. So you're basically, MCT was playing war the entire time, and I think that was 6 weeks or something. I think it was 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh wow, was it that long?
I can't remember.
Because I know
that was a long time
before 9/11 it was shorter, and then I think they added another week after.
It might have been like
But
4 or 5 weeks. It seemed like a little while. It could have been 4 weeks.
Okay.
I don't remember. That was
Okay.
a long time ago. 1998. So I went through MCT, and of course I went in as Motor T.
Right.
So I didn't go to the infantry, where I think theirs is another 13 weeks.
The true infantry school.
Yeah,
right.
infantry
Of
school
course.
is like 13, I think another 13 weeks. So yeah, everybody that's not infantry goes to MCT, and you go through just the basic, because every Marine is a rifleman.
Exactly.
Everybody learns how to fight.
Exactly.
So we're taught how to call on fire. You go to the grenade pits, you throw some grenades and everything. You get to do everything. Shoot the M290, the 240 Golf, and all that stuff. So it's just like Boy Scout camp.
Yeah.
That's what.
Just really fun.
Yeah, just lots of fun.
That's cool. That's good. So you already talked about your MOS, so you did Motor T. So where did you go to school, and how long was it?
So Motor T school was actually 4 weeks long at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and that's actually how I met my first wife.
Okay.
She lived south of there, across the street from my uncle, and everything. So that's how I met her. Went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. When I graduated the class, you graduate the 3533. Yeah, 3533 is basically your Humvee, your 5 tons, and a couple other small vehicles, but it doesn't cover everything.
Okay.
So then I rolled over into the big boy stuff and became a Dragon Master, where I drove the LVS, the LAVs, I was able to get a driver's license for everything.
Okay.
Anything with wheels, a propeller,
Treads?
and treads.
Yeah.
Everything. Now, propeller meaning boat, like
Okay.
water stuff. I didn't, no flying stuff.
Okay.
No helicopters, anything like that. I didn't. I didn't want to do that until I became a rigger. Then when I became a parachute rigger, yeah, that was a blast.
So yeah, we did MCT, then the parachute rigger.
I went to, Motor T school ended up being another, because of the extended stay for the extra stuff, about 8 weeks. Because I remember getting there in November, being there through Christmas, and of course Army bases shut down completely. Like everybody gets off for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it wasn't until February, and I went to my first duty station in Barstow, California. What a place. It's in the middle of nowhere in the desert.
Like 29 Palms?
Like 29 Palms. It's literally like 2 or 3 hours from there to the north. It's there's nothing out there. The only thing good about Barstow, California was the sage. Sage smells great in the morning. And it's 2 hours from the beach and 2 hours from Vegas. So either way,
like 29 Palms in the middle of major stuff.
You just go either down to the beach or go skiing at Big Bend, I think it was called, Big Bear, or head up to Vegas, and if you're able to, do some gambling. And everything. But I spent 2 years there.
So that was your first time, was there for 2 years, and then have you already done your parachuting?
Have not yet.
So let's jump into that. So that was after your 2 years. So did you switch? Was that considered a switch in MOS?
Yeah, you can do a lat move. I call it just a lat move when you change, and you can only do it once. I've heard of some people doing it twice, but they did it within like a 6-year span. Because every time you change, they're spending money on you to train you for that job. So it's a lot of money to do that, and they're flying you there. If you have family, they're flying your family there. So when I left California from Barstow, I actually went to Okinawa, Japan, and that's when I re-enlisted, made my lat move, and made my change and everything. And because I re-enlisted and did that there, I actually ended up staying instead of just the normal year in Okinawa, unaccompanied with my family. I ended up spending a year and a half there. So it was August 2001. I flew home, went to jump school, graduated jump school, and went and grabbed my family from Missouri, drove back out to North Carolina because I got stationed at 2nd Force Recon, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And when I got out there, I had 5 days still on leave. And I had sat there and was like, you know what, how about I save a couple of days for Christmas since it's coming up, it's September and everything. And ended up waking up that morning, jumping in the car, and we didn't have a phone set up, we didn't have cable set up yet, nothing. So I jumped in the car, was heading to base to check in and get everything done and just get checked into the unit, and couldn't get on base. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I turn on the radio, I'm listening, it's 9/11. And everything. So I'm sitting there trying to get on base, can't get on base. So I do the U-turn, I go back home and grab my wife and kids. We end up going to Walmart. Because everybody knows Walmart has TVs. It's the first thing I thought of. I was like, there's TVs that are hooked up, and every TV in that place had the Twin Towers and the Pentagon going on and everything. So we sat there and watched all that unfold in Walmart in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So, of course, I get a phone call, or I finally am able to get to base and everything, and get checked in. My unit comes and picks me up. I get over there. They rushed me through everything, and then we sit and wait. Now it's a sit and wait game, and because they kept saying everybody's going to deploy, everybody's going to deploy, and so we ended up not deploying. I didn't deploy with the 24th MU that was going out right then. They were like, no, we'll keep you back here. We'll get you trained and get you everything. Get you to be because everybody going out should be an operator, because you're going to be with a Force Recon team. And so it's just like a SEAL team or an SF team. Force Recon teams, we all do the same thing pretty much. And some, like Navy SEALs, you do more stuff in the water. SF, you might do, more stuff on the ground or in the air, whatever. Marines do it all and everything. Sorry, we're just better. And so I love all my brothers. So anyways, because we all cross-trained together. We all, we go down to Florida and train with SEALs. We went to Kentucky and trained with SF, and they would come to us. It was always constant. It's good. You're doing things together especially if they know all the teams are going to a theater at the same time.
Yeah.
So like SEAL Team 3 was going over to Afghanistan at the same time we were going to Iraq, so we were all cross-training, and, we would maybe bounce somewhere and help somebody out, or, they would bounce and help us out, or, whatever. It was always like these joint operations.
Yeah.
And everything. But anyways, so I got like just shotgunned through all the training. I got stuck with a team finally. I was there for the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003. Watched all that from a front seat, which y'all saw on, if you're even old enough. From CNN and from the news networks. I mean, it was just right there.
Yeah.
Big screen for me and everything. It was beautiful. And then came back home. We spent it was 8 months there the first time.
Okay.
Because our job was just to go in, collect and provide recon information and everything, intel, and then after that, we all came home. A couple more MEUs went out here and there, going to Afghanistan, going to Iraq, and then I got stuck on the 24th MEU in 2004. So I'd been home maybe 6 months, 7 months, and we were just doing nothing but training, just a shooting package. Got stuck with another team, and got shipped over and went to Iraq again, and that time we were there for 9 months and everything. So and we lost a few guys during that time.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're good. We can keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, so we lost a few guys during that time. It was
So
the
like,
first time.
how was coping with how did you cope with that? What was your method? What did you and your friends do to get through the day?
When it first happened, it was just nothing but anger. It was a lot of just anger. They settled us down. Our captain, Captain Douglas, was really good. He was like, okay, hey, we're going to take a couple of days, no missions, no training, nothing. Just going to sit here and chill. Everybody process it.
Yeah.
They provided counselors and stuff if you wanted to talk to
that's
somebody.
good.
But we were kind of, it's still
mad.
the stigma of
Right.
like, no, I'm not going to talk to somebody.
I don't want to talk to him.
I got this. I can handle this. I'm a man. And then, and everybody's built differently. Some people handle things differently. Some people cry to let it out. Some people want to go and hit things to let stuff out and get their anger out.
Shoot guns.
A lot of them are just working out and getting buff.
Yeah.
And some of us just went over and shot guns at the range. We're like, nah, I know we don't have to train, but we're just going to go throw some rounds down range and stuff.
Sure time.
And that's kind of how you deal with it. And eventually things catch up to where there's phases of PTSD and stuff and dealing with stuff like that. There's anger, and then it goes into the guilt and everything of why not me?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it me?
Right.
He was such a good guy. This guy's such an awesome dude.
His family
Why wasn't it
was,
me?
yeah.
And stuff like that. And anyways, we ended up coming home. We dealt with things how we could there, and we caught a lot of bad guys. We killed a lot of bad guys. So it was our trip. We felt like was very successful.
Good.
We had over 485 missions. I've got all this written down. I kept a journal when I was over there and stuff, and and then a couple of my awards that I received, they say on there, I want to say it was like maybe a couple hundred, insurgents that we actually captured and were able to, bring in for more intel.
Right.
And, of course that leads to other captures and stuff, whether it was us or somebody else, and everything. But, it was good. And then you have your long fire. You have your firefights. We were in firefights almost every single day. For 9 months, it was kind of nonstop because this was 2004 and 2005. The war it was still fresh and new. So there was a lot of people to deal with.
Right.
But yeah, we dealt with all that. We came home, had some funerals, had some gatherings. We met some of the families of the fallen, some of our buddies that didn't come home, and had some ceremonies and stuff. And it still doesn't process. But when I came home, I literally had 30 days. I had already made up my mind I was not re-enlisting.
So this is the very end, right? You've already.
This is the very
okay.
end, yeah. So I had, from 2000, I got there in 2001, never made it to Afghanistan. 2003, after all the training and everything that we go through, invasion of Iraq, come home, 6 or 7 months, work up and everything, and then we're back over there in 2004. 2005, we came home. It was February 25th. And then I had literally until April 1st to get out, check out of the Marine Corps, which is not as easy as it thinks.
Yeah, no,
people,
for sure.
you have a million things. You have to go and talk to this person and have them sign a paper, go talk to this person and sign a paper, turn in all your gear,
Yep.
And whatever you've lost, you got to pay for and,
Okay.
replace it and everything. But I had all my gear. There's only, if you're missing something, you acquire stuff through the years. You're not stealing it, you're acquiring it.
Got it.
Because there's only one thief in the Marine Corps. Everybody else is just trying to get their stuff back. So
Right.
you acquire your stuff back, and eventually, people leave stuff in the field. I found a backpack in the field one time that not even somebody with our company, somebody in another company, another battalion
Already gone
had
through.
left, and it looked like it had been sitting there for a month, and I was like, it's mine now. Went through and
Not worth coming back for.
took it home. So anyways, yeah, I actually still have that bag.
Are there any goodies in there?
Oh yeah, there was lots of goodies, some shovels and a couple of knives, and then
Oh wow.
just ponchos, poncho liners. Everybody loves a whoopee.
Yeah.
I still have my whoopee. Washed it very, very good coming back from Iraq.
Yeah.
Because it stank horrible. So yeah, came back in 05, had a month. I got out April 1st, 2005, and everything. Then that's when I think I started really dealing with a lot of the PTSD.
Yeah, because you
Start
you're
to
on time
process
now,
it.
yeah.
You've got a lot of free time. I went into the oil field, and I was fixing computers on oil rigs and their automatic drillers. So I was literally driving from either all over the state of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. Like if there was a rig in South Louisiana I'd have to go to, I would go to it. And if somebody called because they broke something up in northern Oklahoma, I was driving.
So you're driving a lot.
Driving a lot. And so there's a lot of time to just process things and think about things. And you start to deal with it. And, of course, I'm not perfect. I made some mistakes. I started drinking a lot. I drank a lot.
Yeah.
And just trying to cope with it and deal with it.
Right.
And eventually, I figured out that wasn't going to do it. And, it hurt my marriage. And so we ended up getting a divorce. I moved back to Texas, or actually I moved down to Louisiana and stuff, and was working in the oil field still.
Yeah.
And everything, but you get through it, and in the last 4 years, everything has been on the up and up.
Yeah.
I mean, did just have some anniversaries of some deaths, and there's a couple more coming up this next month. November 23rd was Ettinger. December 14th will be Pearl. So he was my mentor. And so and there's a lot of guys in between that all passed away about this time.
Okay.
And everything, or were killed. And so, it's a hard time right now, but it gets easier with time.
You got your buddies to go.
Yeah, it
with
gets easier with time, and I talk to a lot of guys on Facebook and
Okay,
stuff,
that's good.
and social media, or we call each other on the phone.
Yeah.
We just play catch up. A bunch of them are retiring. I would have retired last year if I would have stayed in.
Okay. Oh, they did their 20?
That would have been 20. That would have been 20 for me. So I have no regrets.
Okay.
But you're always going to wonder what if.
sure.
Always.
For sure.
So.
Well, let's process some of that just with some of these other questions that I have. So, out of all the places you traveled, what was your favorite place? It can be for whatever reason. Whether it was just beautiful or the time or whatnot.
It was, oh no, I can't think of the name of it. And it's so easy. It's in Iraq.
What does it start with?
It's in the Bible and everything. Oh, what starts with a B? Babylon.
Oh, okay.
Babylon, Iraq. The reason why is because that's what got me into history.
Okay.
I hated history in high school.
Okay.
Don't tell any history teachers that. I hated history in high school. It was boring, just
Sitting there with a bunch of numbers.
sitting there with a bunch of numbers, trying to remember dates and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I had picked up a book before going over, and I started reading 2 books. I started reading the Quran because I wanted to understand the culture, and of course, most of my enemies in this, I know this is not all Muslims, but most of my enemies were Muslim. So I wanted to understand
Where they were coming from.
Where are they reading? Because there's people who misinterpret the Bible and say we're supposed to do this or do that, and it's wrong.
Right.
So obviously that happens with every religion. So I started reading that, and then I started reading things about Babylon and just the Tigris and the Euphrates River and stuff. And of course, it's the Fertile Crescent.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing. And when we got to Babylon, we're sitting there, and Marines and military people in general, we kind of have dark humor, and we have some funny. We just have a lot of dark humor. We laugh at things we probably shouldn't most of the time.
The stress you're dealing with.
And that's the stress you're dealing with, because you've seen the armpit of the world. You've seen what hell is like. So when you see it again, you kind of just laugh about it and deal with it.
Right.
It's our way of dealing with it. So I have a buddy who picks up. We're sitting there talking about Babylon. We're walking through King Harmoni's castle and everything.
Yeah.
And there's the blue gate with the lions and stuff. And so we're sitting there, and he picks up a thing of sand, and he goes, "You know what? Just think about it. We had just had a firefight that morning and spilled blood on this ground."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Think about how many wars have been here that we've talked about, and how much blood is in the sand that we're holding right now."
Right.
And it was a little dark, but it sent goosebumps.
Yeah,
It still
sure.
does. It's kind of like thinking about, wow,
Right.
there's a lot of history right here
Yeah.
where we're standing and stuff. And so it's a little, I don't know, humbling, I guess,
Yeah.
but it's just thinking back as far as the beginning of time and stuff. So
That's
Babylon,
like understanding.
yeah. So
the
Babylon
history
has to be my favorite place I've ever been in my life.
there. Okay.
All those Germany and all these other places were awesome, but Babylon just had the history.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to interact with the locals there in the culture?
We did. We did quite a bit. After the initial invasion, when we set up FOBs, the forward operating bases, outside the gates, they would allow people to come in and set up little shops and little merchants and stuff. And you get to talk to them. You talk to a kid. Like if you've seen
It's Jarhead, right?
Jarhead and the other one where he's the EOD guy.
Yeah. I forgot what it's called, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and so he
kid
plays the
with the
Jason
DVDs.
Bourne dude. Yeah, kid with the DVDs.
Yeah.
So you get to meet and
That's cool.
talk to all these people and stuff, and you find out some of them are like some of them were Christians. And they're like, but don't tell anybody because I don't want to be killed.
Right.
Because the radicals would kill me.
Wow.
And everything. And then there was people that were trying to like get you to, can you take me home, take me to America, that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. Of course, the weirdest thing I thought that, and this was talking with most of them, I probably talked to over 300 Iraqis and even Iraqi police that were training from Hosler. From Hilleswap. They thought all of us Americans have Mercedes and drive big trucks and like the rappers and the famous people they see in magazines. They think we live that life, like all of us live that life. And we were like, no. And I showed them a picture of my truck, and at the time I had this old 1981 Ford F-150, and they're like, no, you're lying. And I was like, no, seriously, this is my truck. No. It's something they thought would be their truck.
Yeah.
I got to mingle with the locals quite a bit.
Okay. Do you have any of their bizarre foods, or that we would think was bizarre?
I had scorpion. It's the first time I had lamb.
Okay.
But horse.
Really?
I've had horse. I've had scorpion. I've had snake.
Do you have any like weird intestines or anything?
I did have some sausage that was wrapped in lamb's intestines and everything, and
Sounds kind of good.
it was good. I mean, you got to try everything once.
Yeah. When in Rome, right?
Yeah. The scorpion, I don't suggest to anybody. It wasn't that good.
No? What do you even eat of the, I guess, the little body of the scorpion?
Yeah, just the body. They were like, just hold the tail and crunch it. And I was like, oh, okay. I was gagging the whole time. I was like,
Thanks, guys.
tasted like dirt.
Yeah. All right. So, next question. I'm sure you have so many examples, but was there an act of courage in someone else that you'd like to share? If you can think of just one, I know you might have countless ones.
Yeah, the way Edinger died was we'd just been attacked, and it was an IED. We didn't notice it. There was a gas station off to our left when we were driving down the road.
Okay.
And what we were doing, we were coming to extract a team that had been watching a bridge. Some of the local people had intel that this bridge was being targeted to be blown up.
Okay.
Supplies.
Yeah,
Supply route.
for sure.
And so I'm driving and I'm looking at the gas station, and I'm looking at all the trash, because you're always just looking at trash,
Trying to
at
find
dead animals,
anything
anything out of the
sticks out,
ordinary,
right.
and you're like, why is that there?
Exactly.
That shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
And usually you knew something was about to happen. You get the instinct anyways, and I remember feeling it. But like, especially the little jokes that some people share on social media, like they'll show a picture of an empty street, and it says, every military member, their hair just stood up on the back of their neck.
When it's too
You
quiet.
know something's about to happen,
no
because
kids
people are
running
always
around.
out and about. They're playing soccer in the streets. They're always doing something.
Yeah.
They don't have jobs. They don't have school.
Right.
So they're always doing something.
Trying to entertain themselves. Yeah.
And so, so there was people at the gas station waiting in line and everything, and this car was being pushed and everything, and so we weren't. Boom. And Edinger and Cruz and Ham were in the vehicle behind me.
Were you lead?
I was actually second vehicle.
Okay.
So two vehicles had just went by, and then he was on my butt, so we felt it. And I was driving. I remember just holding on in
Right.
back of the vehicle, squirting and everything. But he took shrapnel straight under here, and it came out right here
Out of his ribcage?
out of his rib cage from the explosion.
Okay.
And he stood on that 50 cal and just.
Oh, so was he a gunner and he got,
Yeah.
because he was standing up and got
Yeah,
hit
he
by
was
shrapnel?
standing up, and and he took the shrapnel and just kept fighting until
So you got ambushed, I'm assuming?
there
after
was
the IED.
several people out and about. The crowd looked like they didn't even know what was about to happen. That's all. Because once that happened, everybody disappeared.
Scattered.
But you just look for the muzzle flashes in the buildings and the other cars and whatever that were around, and we pulled over, and our team, Alpha team we were extracting, was coming out of the building, and they were coming down, and he's just laying fire.
So they can
Edinger's
get
just
out.
laying the fire so that they can get over to us safely and everything. And then once that was done, and the vehicle wasn't movable, so Cruz was sitting there, and he was my Marine, one of my parachute riggers. He was the Lance Corporal, and he was just trying to get it started and everything. And I'm on the radio, dude, get it started, go, 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 just go. And Captain Douglas is on the radio, and blah, blah, blah. The air captain is calling in support, saying, hey, we need support. Because we had a couple of choppers in the area and everything. And then when we found it, of course, Dan comes over the mic, and he's like, Edinger's hurt bad. He's hurt bad. And so he comes in. They get over there eventually with us, and we surround them. And the helicopter comes in. By that time, the firefight's done. We kind of pushed towards the buildings and took out the people we could. The rest of them ran away.
Yeah.
But Edinger walked to the helicopter and everything. And then this was, without looking at my journal, it was like the beginning of November. But then, so he made it all the way back to the States. He was stabilized and everything, made it back to the States, but then he had a hemorrhage and a blood clot or something. He ended up dying on November 23rd. But yeah, we gave him the Silver Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those lots of times I saw people do things. I got a medal for doing something stupid, and that's how we kind of looked at it, like, oh, you got a stupid medal? You know, because
Yeah.
when it's your brothers out there, you know, you'll do anything for them.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you'll do the dumbest thing to protect them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about once you were getting your way out. So we talked a little bit about adjusting to civilian life. So just maybe rehash that a little bit, just how that was.
Yeah, adjusting to civilian life was, well, it was kind of painful.
Yeah.
We call them freaking nasties. Because you come across people that stand around with their hands in their pockets.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not supposed to do that in the military. You kind of get used to it. You feel like somebody's watching you all the time.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And you've heard that before?
Yeah, Mr. Black. So Mr. Black was saying, he said someone was going to jump out of a bush and yell at him and ask him what he was doing.
Yeah, it's like, holy cow, like you're walking.
You have freedom again.
Like if I had recently just gotten out of the Marine Corps and I'm walking through the hallway with my hands in my pockets, I would be scared somebody's like about to be like, hey, Marine, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and jump my butt for it. So yeah, it's a little getting used to, a lot of getting used to actually.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, you have in the Marine Corps, you have people who want to be there,
Right.
that you know, enjoy their job, and those who don't, you get rid of them. Like there's no, oh well, you know, we got to do this, and there's no, you know, no PC, nothing. It's fine. You don't want to be here. You're getting written up. You're going to get a dishonorable discharge. You're out of here. We don't care. If you want to ruin your life, fine. And so that's what it is. You get into civilian life, you get a job somewhere, you come across somebody that, I hate my job, blah, blah, blah. And they're just doing what they can do to get by, and they're barely doing anything. I mean, they're just doing the minimum so they don't get fired. Oh, that's just frustrating. It's frustrating. And because everybody else, they would go above and beyond. Everybody on your team would go above and beyond. They would work hard. They would push you to work hard. You're pushing them to work hard. Okay, hey, you know, somebody's wanting to learn more about how to, you know, do sutures and, you know, do stitches.
Yeah.
You know, all right, everybody, let's get the pigs together, and they would bring in, you know, you go to the store and you buy a pig's feet, you cut it, and you learn how to do stitches. Yeah. And so, because somebody wanted to learn how to do it, or everybody just needed to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
It's a good skill to have
very
in
good
the middle of a war zone.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, you're always pushing each other to learn more and do more and everything. So yeah, when you become a civilian and you come across people who are, like, they shouldn't have left McDonald's. You know, there's no disrespect there. You know, you can have a great career at McDonald's, be a manager and everything. But like, people who aren't striving for that,
right.
Like they're going to be a burger flipper the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And you have to work with somebody like that. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's just taking jobs from teenagers who should have a good job.
Yeah. So, awesome. I already know the answer to this next question, but would you do it again?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. I miss it every day.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
If they did a recall right now because of some big war, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd go back.
Awesome. All right.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It sounds like you really enjoyed it. So overall, what would you describe military life in 3 words?
3 words.
You can do it in 3 words.
Military life in 3 words. Exciting. Honorable. Frustrating. There's some frustrating parts.
Yeah. It's good. It's healthy. You should have all those emotions.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
healthy.
Some frustration.
Yeah, well, that's about it. Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you for
appreciate
commitment.
it.
Thank you for your service. God bless you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.